Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thoughts from the car today. So today I was thinking about on the way to work about aging, and how it really is such a gift. I'm 43. I'll be 44 in November. And I've been thinking about aging a lot. I'm going through quite a transition in my life, and my circumstances have changed a lot relationally, physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. A lot of things have changed for me in the last couple of years, and specifically in the last 6 months. And so aging has definitely been on my mind because in a lot of ways I'm kind of starting over in some areas of my life. And when you're starting over in certain areas of your life, you automatically think about, well, can I do this because I'm this age? I'm not 20 anymore. And so today I was thinking about that on the way to work, and I was thinking about what a gift aging actually has been. As I meet this transition, as I go through this transition, aging in and of itself has been empowering. And how I think it's important for us to reframe our thoughts on aging. So I think especially as a woman, this is really important for us for our emotional and mental health. So I kind of want to go over a couple things. First, I want to talk about aging well, how aging is empowering, and also how we can reframe our thoughts on aging. So it's got to be quick today. Okay, so aging well. First is our physical health. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to prioritize our physical health. This means that we have to exercise, be active, move our bodies, a healthy diet. This is an area that I have struggled for a lot of my life because food is comfort, and I'm an emotional eater. And so this is something I've really been trying to work on for myself, is to not emotionally eat and to make sure I am eating nutritious food, higher protein, especially as we age, because our muscles need that extra protein to help us maintain muscle, not just build muscle, but to actually maintain the muscle that we have. And sleep is a priority. We have to get our sleep in check. Adequate, good, restful sleep is super important for aging well. And I think too, having regular checkups. Like, I never used to be someone who would go to the doctor like annually. I would only go when I had an issue. But as I've hit about 39, 40 there, I have started doing annual checkups. And that is because, partly because I was starting to feel my age and things were changing, my body was changing. But also I think it's really important for us to be proactive in our health. And oftentimes our doctors will have questions for us that might help us realize, oh, that's something I need to think about or I need to take care of. So make sure we have those regular checkups. So physically, we have to take care of ourselves. Emotionally and mentally, we must take care of ourselves. We have to prioritize our health in that way. And we can do this through mindfulness and meditation, making sure we're staying in the present rather than the past or anxiety about the future. We have to maintain our social connections. And this, I feel like, has been such a challenge since 2020 for so many, especially those who are not in the super young sectors of life, because we have less reason to go out. Many of us work from home. Many of us have lost friendships because of political things or physically, or because jobs have changed, or just economic downturn. There's just so many reasons why friendships, relationships, social connections have changed. The way we conduct ourselves socially is completely different since 2020. And so I think it's really important for us to maintain social connections and to pursue social connections, new and old and everything in between. When we are social creatures, I know so many people are like, I'm so introverted, I don't need people, I like to be by myself. Yes, but you also still need people. So you still need to maintain those social connections. And we don't realize it until usually those social connections are gone. And I think it's really important for us to have hobbies and interests. As a mom, something that I really realized, my oldest is 18 and my youngest is 7, and I have a 13-year-old. I, up until probably a year ago or so, had nothing for myself. I had no hobbies or interests. Like, I just did everything for my kids. And when that hit me, it was really enlightening for me, and it made me change a lot of things. And I started pursuing hobbies and interests for myself, and that has kind of brought me down the road of coaching, because it's something that I really enjoyed doing and did for so long for free, and now it's something that I really am passionate about and want to do as a living. Oftentimes when we hit our 40s, you hear often about midlife crisis and things like that. But I think what really happens is we have this transition of, do I really want to be doing this thing that I'm doing for the rest of my life? And if not, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? We get this greater sense of purpose as we age, and we feel the pressure of that. And so I think it's really important for us to have hobbies and interests of our own to age well, so that we have something for when we actually become old people, when we are actually in our 70s and 80s and hopefully 90s, that we have something for ourselves, and we have something that we like and we can pursue and just makes us us. And I think also it's really important for us to find professional help when we're talking about our mental and emotional health. And this is, counselors, therapists, coaches, to help us pursue the things that we want to pursue, good mental, emotional health for ourselves. And then there are just lifestyle factors too that help us age well. And I think limiting our stress, which I know is so difficult, but there are practices that we can do to reduce our anxiety and stress. I think it's really important for us to do those things to age well. To limit our alcohol consumption and smoking, no smoking, will help us age physically, like our bodies age. And I think skincare, like that's something I never did. I was literally a soap and water girl. And then I started to be almost 40 and I realized, wow, my skin has changed quite a lot. And so I think skincare is really important. Sunscreen, all those things will help us age well. Okay. So I think I want to talk now about why aging is empowering and we can embrace aging and we don't have to fear it. And because that is the gift of it, is that we don't actually have to fear it. All encompassing, aging really truly is a gift. And so I think the first thing we have to remember is that aging is a process. It is not all at once, but it's a process that we go through. It is a time of growth when we age. We get to learn, we get to develop our skills. We get to have deeper relationships as we age because we become more wise. We have new experiences. We get to, with that wisdom and experience, we get to make better decisions for our life. We get to maybe not do a do-over, but we get to do things from a different perspective than what we did when we were in our early 20s, especially as we hit our 40s. I feel like, at least in my experience, I get to make wiser decisions for myself. And I get to not regret the decisions I made when I was younger, but I get to learn from those decisions. And I feel like aging, especially when we hit 40s, is such a time of self-discovery. I get to have more time for my passions because I'm making the time for it because of the wisdom and experience. And I'm like, wow, my life is going quickly. I used to be 20 years old and now I'm 43. Like, how did that happen so quickly? We get to pursue our passions a little bit more because we make time for it, because we realize aging is happening. We pursue our own interests, which is awesome. And I think we get to live from our values even more. Like our values, not that they change, but like they become more solidified, more refined, especially because we tend to appreciate life more as we age. We tend to understand the fragility and the beauty of aging because of the experiences that we've had. And so our values mean a lot more to us. And those kind of might shift a little bit and we were more refined and evolve and we grow. And yeah, I think we can embrace aging. Then we don't have to fear it because of those things. And then we actually start to embrace aging. We start to embrace it because we have an increased self-awareness. I don't know about you, but it's like 40 was the magic age. I have really increased my self-awareness. I've always kind of been an aware person, just because of the way I grew up required me to be aware to survive. And so I've always kind of been a very aware person, but my awareness has increased in a healthy way, meaning that I have a greater understanding of myself. As I age more and more, I really am getting to know myself and love myself and appreciate who I am and have a greater appreciation for the parts of myself that I don't like, that I feel are weaknesses. And this has allowed me to live more authentically. When we have greater awareness of ourselves, of our strengths and our weaknesses, and love both of those things about ourselves, we can live more authentically. We can live in a way that allows us to be more bold, live out loud, be more authentic as ourself. And this allows us to grow even more. And this allows us to have a greater independence. I think is super important to talk about this, and allows us to embrace our aging because we have less reliance on others. We learn to have more confidence in ourselves. We learn to trust ourselves because we've been through so many experiences and we live by our intuition more as we age, because I feel like that's just kind of a natural thing that happens for some of us. We live more by intuition because of the experiences that we've had. This is super liberating for us. We become more confident in ourselves. We trust ourselves. We become less reliant on others and more liberated. We embrace the freedoms that aging really gives us because of the greater wisdom and experience that we've had and the self-discovery that we have and their greater appreciation that we have for the fragility of our life. And I think too, as we age, specifically as we get into our 40s, it gives us the opportunity to actually have a sense of accomplishment of our lives. We're able to look back at our achievements, whether it's a career achievement, a business achievement, a personal achievement, relationally, familially. We see our children grow up and that gives us a self-accomplishment because we see them doing well, or, there's these senses of accomplishment. We have something in our life that we've accomplished. There's something. Sometimes it's hard for us to see. And that can be like the difficulty in aging, is that we feel like maybe we don't have a sense of accomplishment, or we thought we'd be farther along. And really what that opportunity is it allows us to reframe how we think about aging, which I will get to after I continue talking about how we can embrace aging and how it's really empowering. I think it's a reminder of our resiliency and strengths when we think about our achievements. And when we think about everything that is behind us that we've overcome, but then all the opportunities that are still ahead of us, especially when we hit that midlife, like our 40s, we really do have so much more life ahead of us if we embrace our life, if we embrace what we're doing, if we allow ourselves to be empowered by what we've already accomplished in life. And I think a big part of this, something that I'm really embracing, is embracing my body, embracing the sensuality that I have in my life, and how this can harness such beauty and confidence and resiliency. I think we start to, at least for me, as I've hit my 40s, I'm really appreciating the strength and beauty of my body as an individual. It has done so much for me. It has brought beautiful children into this world. It has done some amazing things. I've run half marathons. I've been beautiful places. I've accomplished some really cool things in my life. And this makes me appreciate the beauty of my body as an individual, the strength of it. I think also sometimes in some ways we stop comparing and we just start living. I know in my 40s, I'm not a 20-year-old girl anymore. I don't have the body of a 20-year-old, and that's okay because I'm not 20 and I don't need to have a body of a 20 or 30-year-old. I have a body of a 40-year-old and I'm embracing that. And I think this helps us challenge societal norms as well and standards that society has for, especially for women. I've embraced my gray hair. I used to dye my hair. When I started turning gray, like around the age of like 26, 27, I started seeing some of my first gray hairs. My dad turned gray at about 26, 27. And so I started dyeing my hair. And I used to do like really fun colors and all that kind of stuff. Like I made it fun. But really it was about me not being confident in myself. And so probably around the age of like 38, 39, I just stopped dyeing my hair and more gray came, and I love my gray hair. Like I absolutely love it. It really is a crown of glory. I feel like it's me. It's part of my personality now. And it's not something that I'm ashamed of. I actually am embracing it and I love it. I love that thing about me. I love the patterns in it. And so I'm just embracing it. I'm embracing and I'm challenging that societal norm of women in their late 30s and early 40s dyeing our hair. Like I'm just not doing it anymore. And I think this helps us to celebrate diversity too, the diversity of our bodies. And it just helps us embrace ourselves more. And I think that also kind of touching on that sensuality thing, we can embrace our sensuality. I don't know about you, I've talked about this before, but I grew up and as a young adult was part of the purity culture and just hiding my body and being ashamed of my body because it was this thing that I should be ashamed of. It was what was taught to me because I can't be sensual and I can't be sexual. And I think that that's just bull honky. And I've really opened up and have really embraced sensuality as a woman. And this really helps me in my relationships, not just sexual relationships, just relationships in general, because I think it helps us want to have quality over quantity. As we age, we want to have deeper relationships, deeper connections with people. We have a greater appreciation for pleasure in our lives in general, not just sexual pleasure, but pleasure in our lives in general, like because life goes so fast and we realize we stop playing, we stop embracing pleasure, we stop doing the things that make us feel good because of responsibility. Yes, we have to be responsible people, but we can also increase our pleasure and we can embrace it and enjoy it. I think that we also, as we age, have an increased sense of not worrying about failure. We enjoy the journey of life more. And this can be embraced by, again, sensuality and understanding that our bodies change and that's okay. And that we really enjoy the journey of sensuality in our bodies and enjoy the journey of trying new things, not just sensually and with intimacy, but also just trying new things and not being afraid of failing. Like for me, doing this business, this coaching business, I don't want to fail, but I'm not afraid of failing. Like I'm willing to risk, I'm willing to try. And I feel more confident in myself because of the wisdom and experiences I have. I feel like I can do this. And I think all of this really encompasses a greater sense of purpose. We find new passions. We want to mentor people who are younger than us because we wish that we maybe would have had someone who would have mentored us. I've been very fortunate that I had some mentors in my life that really helped me and I feel like got me to this place of freedom and independence and willing to change. And I've just really embraced that. And we want to spend more quality time with ourselves and others. And that just gives us a greater sense of purpose. So how do we reframe those thoughts on aging? I think we focus on the positive. We make sure that we are surrounding ourselves with positive influences. We embrace change instead of being afraid of change. I've kind of hit on all those things, what I've said. And I think we celebrate our lives. We celebrate where we're at in that present moment and we don't fear what is ahead of us and we don't regret what is behind us. And I think another big thing is that self-care. We talked about that before, like taking care of our bodies emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and doing the inner work that is needed to help us have more self-compassion and love ourselves better. Okay, so I threw a lot at you guys. So let me ask you this. Here's my challenge for you. Are you embracing aging? Are you embracing what your body can do? Or are you fearing aging? What do you need to reframe in your life to embrace aging so that you can see aging as a gift? I challenge you today to write down the pros and cons of aging. And I want you, a lot of the pros are the things that I've mentioned. And I want you to measure yourself, which pros of aging are you living? What are you living out? And where do you need to maybe reframe aging for yourself? All right, guys. And as always, if you need help with this, needs more support, DM me or go to my website, briannageorge.com and schedule a coaching session with me. Have a wonderful day.